And we've got football. It's underway. I know it's not much. Just, the Hall of Fame game, the preseason. But it's football. It's here. Very exciting time. Okay, well, I ended up watching the whole game last night. Might have missed a couple things here and there, but, you know, I went through the fourth stringers. We got all the way down to those fourth string quarterbacks and everything. So, couple things I noticed. I know it's tough to take anything from these games, but as long as we're here, we might as well discuss it. For the Pittsburgh side of things, you had to be happy with how the quarterbacks played. You know, pretty much all of them. Ben Roethlisberger played okay. He wasn't given much of a chance, but he took what he could and did a pretty good job. Brian St. Pierre showed a little bit of something. Charlie Batch looked all right. You know, and the running game was solid. No Willie Parker, but Najee Davenport ran over some people. You saw Kerry Davis, Russell, and Kroom, and even a little bit of like Haynes, and just a bunch of different people who were probably never going to see the field in an actual NFL game came on, and showed a little bit of something. You had to be happy with how the receivers in general played. Cedric Wilson looked real nice. Santonio Holmes had that nice touchdown. Nate Washington dropped a couple of big catches, so that was a bit of a downer for the Steelers. But it looks like things are set pretty well with Ward and Holmes starting at wide receiver, and number 3 spot going to go to Wilson or Washington, depending on how things go. Defensively for Pittsburgh, no sacks, but they got pressure. So stats don't tell the whole story here. They were getting to the quarterback and forcing bad throws. They just couldn't finish it. So obviously they want to get sacks, but still a pretty good day for pressure. No Lawrence Timmons. He didn't get a chance to play because he was hurt. But Lamar Woodley played in his place. Impressed. I think he got a little bit of pressure. Looked all right in coverage, which was really the thing to worry about when it came to Woodley, since he was more of a defensive end in college. And William Gay should have secured his spot on the roster now. Had that big hit on Meacham that kind of welcomed him to the NFL. Had that interception of Tyler Palko. So, that's looking pretty good for him. And you saw the 3-4 defense, not the cover 2, which is a very good thing for the Pittsburgh defense. That's what they need to do. Not this cover 2 stuff. It's not their style. I didn't see that. Okay. So obviously things are looking very good for Pittsburgh. For New Orleans, opposite side of the spectrum. I know it's preseason, so there's only so much you can gather, but you had to be unimpressed with their offense. Breeze only completed 1 pass out of 6 attempts. Receivers were dropping catches. They never really got a chance to establish the run because Deuce McAllister was out with a little injury too. Reggie Bush only got the 2 carries, but, I liked what I saw. I know it's just 2 carries, but he had 8 yards, 1 6-yard carry. Knew how to just take what he could get in the event that it looked like he was going to go down for a loss. So, yeah. On the receiving end, nobody was really able to establish themselves except for Terrence Copper. He's the only player I will really give credit to for the Saints offense. Terrence Copper took a reverse for an important first down, caught a couple of nice balls. So he might be able to secure that number 3 wide receiver spot away from Robert Meacham, who, by the way, only had the 1 catch for 6 yards and a drop when he got hit by William Gay. So, yeah. Just not a good day for the Saints offense. Only positive, no sacks. That's more on the quarterbacks being able to move around than the offensive line, though, so credit to them for being able to avoid sacks. Only 1 turnover total in this whole game when Palko threw the interception to Gay. So it was a solidly played game. Defensively for New Orleans, who their run defense actually looked all right. I was kind of impressed with the first stringers. They did an all right job stopping Najah Davenport and Kevin Barlow and the first stringers. Second string defense got beat up a little bit by Kerry Davis and Russell and all those other guys. But first stringers brought down quite a few run plays for losses and did a solid job. And they got good pressure, 3 sacks. Excuse me. A couple of other instances in which they got pressure, so they had to be happy there. There was a string of sacks, like 3 in a row, actually, at one point in like the first quarter. But that's not the main thing we should be talking about. The thing we should be talking about is their defensive backfield, which is starting off right where they left off last year. I saw Mike McKenzie get burned on at least 2 different occasions by Cedric Wilson for big plays on the first drive. One was the 55-yard bomb. The other was the 3rd and 9 catch for 18 yards that could have forced a field goal. Not good. He's the best cornerback on this team, for better or worse. He needs to show up more than that. It was not pretty for Mike McKenzie, and that was just 2 I can remember. I'll bet he got beat more than that. Fred Thomas, we know how he struggles. He started at the number 2 spot, and he got beat a couple times by Nate Washington, but luckily for him, Washington had butter on his fingers, so it did not show up in the stats, but he still did not look particularly good. He's getting up there in age. I think it's time to definitely look toward a replacement for him starting in that secondary. Kevin Carnarvon, I don't know how to pronounce that name. He was, the free agent acquisition to play safety. He also got beat on that long bomb to Cedric Wilson, so not good on his part either. Pretty sure I saw Josh Bullocks get beat here and there, so kind of ugly for New Orleans back there. And of course, the most unfortunate news maybe was seeing Jason David get burned by Santonio Holmes on another deep ball, 41-yarder. That's not what you want to see. He's the guy they brought in to try and fix the secondary. So to see him get beat so badly by Holmes, not pretty. That's all I got to say. It just was not a good game for New Orleans. Robert Meacham, well, he just got the wind knocked out of him, but he's starting to remind me a bit of Charles Rogers. He can't seem to stay on the field. I know it's too early to say anything. Obviously, this is just a Hall of Fame game, so I wouldn't worry. Saints fans or, Saints supporters, I wouldn't worry too much about what this team is looking like. Just the first game of the preseason. And on the other side, I wouldn't say that Pittsburgh is Super Bowl bound yet. But impressive showing by them. They came out and proved something. New Orleans needs to get back on track. 20-7 win in favor of Pittsburgh, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. But it was a pretty clean sweep by Pittsburgh. So that's all I got to say all around. Bad news for New Orleans secondary, though. They got to get that fixed. Last year, better secondary might bring them to the Super Bowl, but we'll never know. So Jason David needs to step up and be the player they signed him to be. Mike McKenzie needs to get back to his elite form. And that's really all I got to say. So, people, sign up for the Fantasy Football League. Password Champ Bailey. Name of the league is YouTube Footballers. Just go there and check it out. Even if you're not a big fantasy football fan, we need bodies. And it's not that hard, and it can be fun, especially when you get a lot of people. So go check that out on fleaflicker.com. Password Champ Bailey. Name of the league is YouTube Footballers. Just a heads up. And next week we're going to see more preseason games, and I'll be reporting on what I see. So see ya.